While most male actors playing Bond is contracted to an appearance in the role at least 5 times, there are a few odd fellows that have jumped the shark. David Niven, George Lazenby, and Timothy Dalton are true actors that haven't been with the series for as long as the other actors contributing to the character, for sure, but making their impression on the audience. For starters, David Niven stars in the 1967 spy comedy. David Niven stars in the 1967 spy parody Casino Royale, based on Ian Fleming's first novel about a hard-drinking agent. The film grossed well at the box office, but the critical reaction to the film was negative in comparison. Niven is tapped as the first original Bond, and even years after the release of Dr. No, Casino Royale still doesn't consider to be one of the canons. The film introduced Lee Schiffer, the criminal that would later return in a Daniel Craig film. Sean Connery was supposed to star in the film but turned it down for $1 million. Since the 1990s, distributor MGM owns the right to the film. The film was directed by John Huston, Ken Hughes, Robert Parrish, Joe McGrath, and Val Guest. On Her Majesty's Secret Service from 1969 and was directed by Peter Sellers R. Hunt, making it his direction debut. It was based on Ian Fleming's 10th novel with the same name. It's the second of the Blofeld trilogy, which starts with Thunderball and concludes with You Only Live Twice. James Bond, played by George Lazenby, marries Contessa Teresa Tracy Di Vincenzo in the film. She is played by the late Diana Rigg. Lazenby's appearance was the second in the canon after Sean Connery got the job after he denied the role. British actor Timothy Dalton, born in 1946, is the fourth actor to portray James Bond in The Living Daylights from 1987 and License to Kill from 1989. He had a short term with the character. Dalton got the role after Roger Moore had the role after 12 years and 7 films, reaching the age of 59 years. Through the search for actors playing the role, Sam Neill and Pierce Brosnan were considered for the agent. Main producer Albert Broccolii wasn't keen on Neill. The studio, Metro Goldwyn Mayer, wanted Mel Gibson but was denied. The role was initially offered to Pierce Brosnan, but he was obligated to film Remington Steele on NBC. Dalton commented, quote, "I feel it would be wrong to pluck the character out of thin air or to base him on any of my preceders' interpretations. Instead, I went to the man who created him, and I was astonished. I would read a couple of the books years ago, and I thought I would find them trivial now, but I thoroughly enjoyed every one. It's not just that they have a terrific sense of adventure and you get very involved. On those pages, I discovered a Bond I would never seen on the screen, a quite extraordinary man, a man I really wanted to play, a man of contradictions and opposites." Sean Connery praised Dalton in an interview. This new actor tried to follow Ian Fleming's interpretation of the character instead of resembling how Roger Moore had done the character. The Living Daylights was directed by John Glenn. The Prince and Princess of Wales now King Charles and late Princess Diana, attended the premiere of the film on 29th June 1987 in London. First, it didn't get enough good reviews, but in retrospect it has gained a more nuanced portrayal of the role. Next up for Timothy Dalton was License to Kill from 1989 with John Glenn returning as a director. This was the first film to film outside the United States. It has received criticism for Dalton's more mature portrayal of the character. Similar to the former movie, the villain drug lord Fran Sanchez doesn't impress as much as the other criminals. It was also the first film to achieve PG-13 rating, which has followed ever since. Film critic Roger Ebert praised the hell of the film, calling it one of the best Bonds. Others said Dalton looked like a bored Connery who did when he did. Others said Dalton looked like Connery did with his sixth film. Dalton commented on Roger as Bond. Quote, I think Roger was fine as Bond, but the films had become too much techno-pop and had lost track of their sense of story. I mean, every film seems to have a villain who had to rule or destroy the world. If you want to believe in the fantasy on screen, then you have to believe in the characters and use them as a stepping stone to lead you in this fantasy world. That's a demand I made, and Albert Broccolii agreed with me. End of quote. Critics have even compared Dalton himself with Daniel Craig has portrayed the spy. Take less than 10 years before Pierce Brosnan would tackle the role in the 1990s.